Ha 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 ha. Good afternoon, everyone. Mamdani has been on a tear lately. So, Mamdani has revived the bus and bike lanes that Adams killed in backroom deals. So, I don't think Adams killed it. I think he had them stalled or, he just wasn't going to do it. Let's just be real. So I guess you know, so now a range of new projects have been announced on Friday that will reverse decisions made by the Adams administration and help the new mayor fulfill his vow to speed up buses in New York City. All right, let's go further. Yes, here's Mamdani, and you can see Jano and Lieber, and you can see Mike Flynn, the Department of Transportation head. All right. When Eric Adams was mayor of New York, he repeatedly undermined his transportation department's effort to improve commutes for cyclists and bus riders in the city. On Friday, his successor, Zohran Mamdani, announced that he was reversing several of Mayor Adams' transit decisions. During a news conference held aboard a bus in the Bronx, Mr. Mamdani said he planned to install offset bus lanes on Fordham Road, the busiest bus route in the Bronx, which is the city's poorest and most bus reliant borough. This decision comes years after Adams nixed an ambitious street redesign there in deference to local political interests and replaced it with a watered down version that did little to speed up traffic. Too many New Yorkers have seen their precious time treated with casual disdain as if it doesn't matter, Mr. Mamdani said. Mr. Mamdani's plan does not create a largely car-free busway on Fordham Road as some transit advocates had hoped for, but it will feature dedicated bus lanes offset from the curb to reduce conflicts with parked vehicles. Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So, we expect the Mamdani administration to continue pursuing public excellence on Fordham Road and across the city and take every opportunity to deliver much faster buses, said Betsy Plume, executive director of Riders Alliance, a mass transit aid advocacy group. Mr. Mamdani also said the city would install a two-way protected bike lane on Ashland Place, otherwise in Brooklyn, nearly 3 years after Mayor Adams' top aide pulled the project, also in deference to local power brokers. That decision became so notorious among cyclists that they came to refer to the block as Crashland. Yeah, everybody calls Ashland Crashland because, well, you might get into a crash there. Once the Ashland project is complete, a protected bike lane will run from Dumbo to Sunset Park, city officials said. That's awesome. The new mayor, who is just 6 weeks into his tenure, ran for office on a platform of making New York City's buses fast and free. Buses which require comparatively little infrastructure and funding and are widely regarded as low-hanging fruit in any effort to broaden the city's transit networks. The city streets are also heavily contested. Peter Mandonia, the chairman of Belmont Business Improvement District, which includes part of Fordham, said that local Bronx institutions, including businesses in the borough's Little Italy along Arthur Avenue, relied heavily on regional vehicular traffic that could be impeded by the bus plan. Constructing traffic the way they're proposing it is going to create real chaos, Mr. Mandonia said. On Friday, Mr. Mamdani said the administration's goal was to increase bus speeds by at least 20% along Fordham Road route. That would mean that the BX12, which now moves at an average pace of about 9 miles per hour, would need to run at a speed of nearly 11 miles per hour. On average, New York City buses travel at speeds of 8 miles per hour, making them one of the slowest fleets in the United States. Riding a bus ought to be faster than walking, said Jano Lieber, the chief executive of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, who joined Mr. Mamdani for the announcement. But while the authority has been supportive of adding new bus lanes, it has not endorsed the mayor's plan to make the city buses free. MTA estimates that subsidizing the buses, which carry an average of 2.6 million riders on weekdays, could cost it more than $1 billion a year in foregone fare revenue. Mamdani has put the price tag a bit lower at about $700 million. Actually, that is the low estimate of what Mamdani said. So just stopping right here, that is the low estimate of what Mamdani said. He said between 700 million and roughly 1.2 million, 1.2 billion, sorry. 700 million and 1.2 billion. But you can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, all that. So I'm not going to read this whole article, but you know, and then they go into some stuff about making the buses, like some people complaining about free buses as if it's the end of the world, even though other places already have free buses, or they go by an honor system where people are. So let me back up for a second. When I was in Switzerland, so you pay for the tram fare on the app. And then what happens is, you know, if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, then someone will review your app payment. They will get on the tram and review your app payment to make sure that you paid. But this means that the tram driver does not, and the tram staff is not necessarily doing it while they're trying to move people, you know, load people onto the tram so it can move quickly. And so that is, you know, that is how they do it in Switzerland. And so that's how I would do it. I would just go with an honor system. And this would solve the free thing. And sure, some people wouldn't pay, but some people would, because, you know, you never know. You might end up with a cop on the app. And then what happens is, if you don't pay, then you have to pay the $50 or whatever instead of the $2 or $3 that you would otherwise be paying for riding on the bus or tram. So that's how I would do it. I would do the honor system rather than make it free outright. I'd be like, oh, we're going to go to an honor system, and then, you know, we'll randomly have people loading up to check, you know, occasionally, you know, at random times, just enough so that people want to pay and not pay the $50. And, you know, that's all. And that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. I would go with an honor system of some sort. I think that's the best for everybody. Well, let me know what you think about these developments. Oh, here's another piece. So on Friday, okay, move that over here. Okay, so look here. On Friday, Mr. Mamdani announced that the city would build a bike lane network through Brooklyn neighborhoods of Midwood, Flatbush, and East Flatbush, and protected bike lanes to Dorchester and Courtleigh roads in Ditmas Park, as well as along Brooklyn and Kingston Avenues in Brooklyn. The safety of New Yorkers should not be a bargaining chip for backroom deals made by the last administration, said Mike Flynn, the city's new transportation commissioner. John Orcutt, former policy director for the Transportation Department, said he was pleased Mr. Mamdani was moving forward with these plans, but he expressed hope that the mayor would also take on bike lane projects that require more political capital to enact, like a congested bike lane that Mr. Adams removed from an Orthodox Jewish section of Brooklyn. They'll endure some grief for putting them back, but it's essential. It's an essential safety project, Mr. Orchid said. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Wow. How about that? Look at this. Mamdani, so far living up to what he said, mostly living up to what he said. Sure, he's doing it in the order that he thinks he can get it done best. And um I respect him for it. I think he's doing a great job. He's checking the boxes. Yes, I am very happy with my vote and my support, my unwavering support for Zoran Mamdani in the primary. Look, let me know what you think down in the comments. I am all about this. Um, yeah, this is great. This is wonderful news. We're already getting bus lanes and bike lanes. Brooklyn needs that network. A lot of areas in Brooklyn need that. They need the network because in Brooklyn, they also, so like lower man actually like all of Manhattan, Brooklyn also they ride the bike a lot. They also a lot of people in Brooklyn. I know one of my good girlfriends, she rides the bus a lot. And it would really help her if she was able to get to her destinations faster because she will ride the bus to the train and then get on the train to come into Manhattan or to go to her job. Like, look, yeah, this is great. This is great. I love it. Woo! All right. Ciao, ciao. Take care.